Welcome back to the Tournament Poker Edge podcast. Time to get into some hands, so let's jump right into it. You want to take the first one, Diego?
Cool. The blinds were at 3-6. There are three players in this hand, and one of these players is Joe Rock, which he's a friend of TPE. Real good friends with Hagbard, and he was at the TPE house a lot this year. And I actually had a chance to talk to him over email about this hand, so I have some of his thoughts. But this one was posted on. This one was live and shown in the broadcast. Did you see this hand, Casey?
No, I did not.
Okay. All right. This is an interesting one too, and this was talked about a lot. So it's a good hand to go over. So it's 3-6, 500 ante to start the hand. Vanessa Russo has $1 million. She's got a lot of chips. She's rolling along. David Bach has about 460,000. I don't recall exactly how he got his chips, but I think he got it on a big flip or something along those lines. He's generally been playing pretty aggressively, and I think that's his image to begin with. And Joe Rock flows has about 140K. He's only got about 22, 23 big blinds here, he told me, to start the hand, so he's not exactly big stack. Pre-flop, he raises from early position with 10-9 off to 13,000, so he goes a little bit over a min raise. I think he's, thinking here that with his stack size, he can steal from early position, I guess. Not sure. I obviously don't know the table dynamic, and he knows it a lot better to know if that's, a move or not. That would work. But he gets called by Russo with 6-6 in middle position, and Bach, who we're going to hide his hand for now, from the big blind, because Bach is getting tremendous odds, I think, to call here, almost no matter what he's got. Would you agree, Casey?
Yeah, seems pretty reasonable to me.
Yep. Okay. So it gets interesting on the flop, though. The flop is 10 of hearts, 9 of spades, 6 of clubs. So it's connected. It's not, there's not a flush draw out there, but it's definitely connected. We go to the flop with 46K in the pot, and Bach from the big blind checks, and Rock, that's nearly half the pot, about 25K. Russo makes it 50K, and then Bach shoves 450K, covering Rock, but not covering Russo. So first off, what are your thoughts here if you're either, Joe or Vanessa, Casey?
Well, I'll take it from Joe's position at first. A dream flop.
Yeah.
I think when he bets the flop, his intention is bet calling. He's never folding.
Yeah.
In my mind, what goes through my mind is Russo could be putting out a feeler raise, something like Queen 10 or something along these lines.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there because he says, what he said to me was, first of all, she called pre-flop without even looking at his stack. That's the first thing. So she doesn't know how deep he's playing. And he says that when she raised the flop, he thought she could have a bunch of hands with ace 10,
yeah,
like ace 10 or a pocket pair, and just seeing where she's at. So you guys are on the same exact page here with her min raise.
Right, so that's what I'm pretty much thinking of her. And then when Bach shoves, I'm like, okay, the only hand he has here where I'm beat is sixes. But he also does this with a lot of hands that I think that my hand is good, like maybe Queen Jack suited or some sort of drawing hand like that. So yeah, I would snap call. I would break my arm getting it in. It's
Right.
actually a tougher spot for Russo after Rock does that. But again, I would be thinking if I was her, if somebody has a bigger set here, I'm just cooler. So I would call with her stack too.
Right. Okay. So you would call as Joe, and you would call as Vanessa.
Yeah.
The Bach shove. And you're saying, Bach has a drawer here as much as he has a made hand, basically.
Right. I think Bach could have something like, I don't know, 8-Jack, Queen Jack.
Right.
I guess he could have 7-8, but if he has 7-8, it seems unlucky.
Right.
So yeah, I would call here.
Okay. So with Joe actually folds here, and he tells us that he thought he could have a worse two pair, but he decided he wasn't risking his main event with those hands often enough. He thought that he could have a set here. And
So he folds because he's afraid of Bach, not because of Russo.
he folds because he's afraid of Bach, not because of Russo.
Well,
And he doesn't think he has. First thought he didn't get 8-7, but then he realized that he's played with Bach, and he thinks Bach would shove 8-7 here just to look weaker. And so so he folds, and Russo calls with the sixes, and Bach actually has so he's beat because Russo, Russo has the sixes, and Bach actually has Queen Jack here, just like you thought he might have.
Yeah, and you know what? If C-Rock goes in here, maybe Russo folds.
Right. Well, I think she probably would have because she was pained, and it took her a long time to call.
Right.
She tanked for a long time.
A long time.
Right. So if he goes in, she probably folds.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I can understand why he does fold, but I don't. I don't fold here.
Yeah. Right. You got top two, and Russo might fold here.
And I think in a lot of hands in box range, he's shoving here, like Queen Jack. I think I mentioned it.
Is he shoving Queen Jack against? Okay. Is he shoving Queen Jack against with Russo present in the hand? I mean, he obviously did, so yes, he does. But you and Joe picked up immediately on, hey, maybe she has ace 10 and she's raising to see where she's at. I guess that's what's going through his mind here, because he doesn't do that if he thinks she has sixes.
No,
yeah, obviously not.
He never thinks that either of them have a set. He thinks that C-Rock C-bets just to C-bet, and Russo raises just to find out where she is in the hand.
Right. Yeah.
This is what's going on. He has C-Rock on nothing, and he has Russo on a feeler raise.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
That's why I call with the 10-9.
Right. Because of those dynamics.
If using that exact logic, I'll be like, well, he thinks I'm just C-betting just to C-bet, and Russo's raising just to raise. I can get them both off the hand here.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Okay. So, yeah, I could definitely follow that logic. Not to be results oriented. Luckily for him, he got out of it though, because Bach hit an 8 on the turn and crushed Russo. And she was out like 3 hands later. She went from $1 million to out, and very quickly to him as well. I forgot she lost a big flip to him.
I'm sorry, Bach did get there?
Bach got there. Yep.
What was the turn in the river?
The turn was an 8 and the river was a blank.
So it wasn't a 9 or a 10?
Nope.
Good fold, Joe.
Yep. So he was just afraid that he was either he had 6 out. He tells me he just feels like he's got 4 outs a lot there based on their actions is what he thought. Which in one case he was right, and the question is, does Russo fold if he calls?
Right, but I think his thinking was he had 4 outs to Bach, not to Russo.
I think so. I think you're right.
Because I don't think there's any chance he folds if Bach's not in this hand. He just jams over this 50K.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good raise by Vanessa then, huh?
Well, yeah, I mean...
She got everyone confused.
I mean, it is a good raise by her, for sure, no doubt about it. But, I mean, it seems like the most you can't pick a worse flop if he's in a hand with her.
Yeah.
You can't pick a worse flop.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, seems like a cooler.
Yeah. All right. Well, he was able to get away from it though. And let's go to the next hand.
Cool.